Dear respected Thai, dear respected Sangha, dear friends, today is March 28, 2021. My name is Nghiêm, and I'm sitting here with our dear Pak Sangha in the Ocean of Peace Meditation Hall at Deer Park Monastery. About 3 weeks ago, in one of our weekly meetings, the sisters asked me to share my practice today. I was hesitated at the beginning, but then I accepted the request with gratitude. Even though some of you may know that sharing in public is a big challenge for me. But I thought that how can I express my gratitude for all the supports that we have received in these past years, especially last year, if not through my practice and my actions. So sharing my practice is one way for me to express my gratitude for my teacher, Thai, for my monastic sisters and brothers, and for all our friends. So thank you, dear sisters and brothers, for your confidence in me. And thank you, dear friends, for being here with us today. I would prefer to speak in English. Sorry, I would prefer to speak in Vietnamese because my English is very poor. But my sisters asked me to share in English. So I will do my best. And I'm very nervous now. And when I'm nervous, my mind sometimes will go blank at any time. So I have some notes with me, and I may need to rely on my notes as often as I need to. So please bear with me and offer me your compassion. The theme I'm going to share about today is truly living alone. Or the better way to live alone, as intuitively chosen by one of my brothers in a tag team that I just discovered yesterday when I went on our website to find the link for one of my friends that she would like to join today. And this inspiration for my sharing today comes from the two sutras, the Elder Sutra and the Sutra on Knowing the Better Way to Live Alone, and also from my experience of my 2-week soul retreat in February. I've been reflecting on the situation in our country and in the world this past year. It's been very difficult for many of us dealing with challenges of illness, loss, uncertainty, and disruption in our life. So many of us have been living in social isolation for such a long time. So I thought that it might be appropriate to share the Buddha's teachings on how to live alone. I have no intention to teach, but only to share my experiences, my observations, and my practice, and hoping that it can be some of benefit. I'm still very young in my practice. So I would like to share about the context of the teachings given by the Buddha in the sutra, the Elder Sutra, and later the knowing a better way to live alone. At that time, the Buddha was staying in the monastery in Savasti, in Chacha Grove. There was a bhikshu named Thera, meaning elder. He always preferred to be alone. Whenever it's possible, he could praise the practice of living alone. He went to seek alms alone, returned alone, and sat in meditation alone. And this was reported to the Buddha by some other bhikshus. And the Buddha called him to see the Buddha. And when he arrived, the Buddha asked him if what was reported was correct. And Bhikshu Thera confirmed that it was correct. Then the Buddha said to him this. So now I have to read that's what the Buddha taught him. The Buddha said to Bhikshu Thera, "It is obvious that you like the practice of living alone. I do not want to deny that, but I want to tell you that there is a wonderful way to be alone. It is the way of deep observation to see that the past no longer exists and the future has not yet come, and to dwell at ease in the present moment, free from desire. When a person lives in this way, he has no hesitation in his heart. He gives up all anxieties and regrets, lets go of all binding desires, and cuts the fetter which prevent him from being free. This is called the better way to live alone. There is no more wonderful way of being alone than this." Let us listen to one sound of the bell. When we practice soul retreat, we literally live alone. So I was alone for the entire 2 weeks. I was in my room alone. I ate my meals alone. I sat in meditation and walked alone. But to be honest, I was not alone for the entire 2 weeks. I was truly alone just less than half of the time, especially during the first week. Many times I found myself talking in my head, repeating the conversation that I had had with someone else before. And sometimes when I was practicing walking meditation, I would see Thai. So I was not truly alone. Memories from the past and thoughts in the present moment constantly with me. I could hear the non-stop thinking very clearly. And sometimes it's difficult to turn it off. And it made me feel tired. It pushed me to do something, even though I didn't have much to do in the room. As we may remember, during the winter retreat 2012-2013, Thai introduced the practice of turning off the radio station NSD, the non-stop thinking, and encouraged the Sangha to practice so that we can be truly present for ourselves and for others. And the encouraging words were read after the sitting meditation in the morning and before the 5 contemplations at lunch every day. I found the text that Sister Chanduk sent to us several years ago. So I would like to read these encouraging words. So here are the encouraging words that we read after the morning sitting meditation. Mother Earth is there under our feet. Dear Sangha, when you walk, invest your whole body and mind 100% in every step in order to be in touch with the wonders of life that can nourish and heal. Do not think and do not speak. If you need to say something or hear someone else say something, please stop walking until you have listened and spoken, and only then continue to walk. Let the whole Sangha support this practice. And these are the encouraging words that were read at lunch. People usually turn off the television when they eat. Let us also turn off the radio station NSD, non-stop thinking, so that we can really be present with the Sangha during the meal. We shall eat in such a way that there is freedom, brotherhood, sisterhood, and happiness while we eat. So during my soul retreat, when my radio and NSD was off, I was able to live alone truly. And when I was truly live alone, I found myself filled with peace, clarity, and serenity. And I see that the radio and ST give rise to many problems, including fear, anxieties, worries, regrets, aversion, attachment, and discriminations. And the foundation of the NSD is our wrong view. Wrong views create a lot of problems. We have views about ourselves and views about others, views about things which are totally different from the reality. My views are different from your views and different from the views of others. And I see that when we speak to one another based on our views, it can lead to disagreements, debates, and even arguments. The Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is suffering. This is recognizing and embracing suffering. The second truth is the cause of suffering. This is recognizing the origination of suffering. The third truth is the cessation of suffering. This is recognizing that suffering can be ended. And the fourth truth is the path leading to the cessation of suffering. This is the Noble Eightfold Path. This is Thai's beautiful circle. The Noble Eightfold Path begins with right view. Right thinking. Right speech. Right action. Right livelihood. Right diligence. Right mindfulness. Right concentration. This morning I came to the hall earlier and I used my cone head to draw this circle. So, what is right view? The Buddha taught that right views is the absence of all views. Right view is the foundation for right thinking, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right diligence, right mindfulness, and right concentration. According to my understanding of the Four Noble Truths, I see that I understand why right view, the Noble Eightfold Path begins with right view. Because when we have a right view, everything else will be right. How can we have a right thinking, right speech, right action if we have a wrong view? And how can we have a right livelihood, right diligence, right mindfulness, and right concentration if we have a wrong view? So, right view is another name for insight. The logo of Plum Village I have a smriti, samadhi, and prajna. And I understand that this is smriti. This is a samadhi. And this is a we always live with our views, and that's why we suffer and we make others suffer. The practice of the Noble Eightfold Path to put an end to suffering starts with right views, because suffering originates from our wrong views. And in order to put an end to sufferings, we should start with the origin. I see that when I'm attached to my views about someone, for example, about a sister of mine, she's always like that. I see that it is very unkind to my sister because I put her in a box. I imprison her in my views and don't allow her an opportunity to change, to renew, and to grow. And it is also very unkind to myself, because I also imprison myself in my own view. So during my 2 weeks soul retreat, my practice is to turn off the radio station NSD as much as possible, to let go of thoughts and views. It is quite difficult to keep the radio NSD from staying off, because thoughts arrive on their own. However, the practice of turning it back off is quite simple. I simply just pay full attention to my body and my breath. So throughout the day, I practice to come back to my body and my breath as much as possible. I practice listen deeply to my body, my feelings and my mind. And I practice to let go of whatever came to my mind. Recently, about 2 weeks ago, on Thursday, we listened to a dharma talk that Thầy gave in the spring of 2014. In the dharma talk, Thầy reminded us the practice of stopping and coming back to our body, to our breath and our step, and the practice of letting go. In that dharma talk, Thầy compared our cluttered mind to a room full of furniture. We cannot walk in and cannot move around. And in order to create space to move around and for new things to enter, we have to let go of the furniture, create space for new things to enter. And our mind is like that. When it is full of old furniture, like our perceptions, our thoughts, our preoccupations from the past, there is no space to move around and for new things to come. So in order to create space and opportunity for new things to come, to manifest, we have to let go of the unnecessary furniture in the room of our mind and empty our mind. New things include wonders, joy, and insights. And with insight, we will be able to understand the causes and conditions of our suffering. It may seem that we have to make a lot of effort to let go of things and to empty the mind, but it's actually quite simple. It is as simple as taking a few mindful breaths. When I notice my mind is full and the radio NSD is on, I just bring my full attention to my body, to my breath, and maintain full awareness of my breath as I breathe in and out. I practice like that during my solo retreat. Lately, one of my practices is to remind myself to see others beyond what I can see with my physical eye. We know that a human being consists of the 5 skandhas, or the 5 aggregates: body, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. And within these 5 skandhas is our true self, also known as our true nature or Buddha nature. This true nature cannot be seen with our physical eyes, but it is always there in all of us. What we see with our physical eyes may be just an individual with full of habits and faults. And looking a little bit more deeply, we may be able to recognize it is a community of selves that has been transmitted over many generations and lifetimes, and the blocks of habit, energy. And it's difficult for us to accept each other. But looking more deeply still, we have to use our wisdom eye in order to see our true nature, the Buddha nature in ourselves and in others. Once we see the Buddha nature in ourselves and in others, how can we discriminate against someone? Or how can we disrespect or look down on someone? Practice to turn off the radio NSD, to let go of our thoughts, perceptions, views, to have the space for our wisdom eye to manifest, so that we can see our true self, our true nature, and the true nature of others. I would like to share with you a story when I was a young novice in Plum Village. It was during my first year as a novice in Plum Village. So I ordained when I was 35, and many of my monastic sisters who were younger than me in worldly age, but nonetheless, they are my elders in the Dharma. Now in Vietnamese, there is no direct translation for you and I. But the pronouns that we use depends on the relative age and the familial relationship between each other. So if you are older than me, I would address you as chị, and you could call me em, Chị means elder sister and em means younger sister. And it is similar in the monastic family. If you ordain before me, I would address you as Sư Chị, which means elder monastic sister, and you would call me Sư Em, meaning younger monastic sister. And because of my early age, many of my elder monastic sisters felt uncomfortable to call me Sư Em, and instead they call me Chị. As a young novice, I had a lot of difficulty in accepting this. I would prefer my elder sisters to call me Sư Em, not Chị. So in one Dharma sharing section, I shared about my difficulty. I shared that I felt unaccepted by those sisters. I shared that no matter if I were older than them, but I ordained after them, I was still their younger sister. And if they don't call me Sư Em, I felt that they would not truly accept me as their younger sister in the Dharma. So one of my English-speaking sisters offered this advice during the Dharma sharing section. She said that just call her sister. I thought to myself, I said, that doesn't help, because I want to be called Sư Em. So I was so caught in my views. And now, every time I remember this, I just smile and think how silly I was. And over many years, I was able to let go of some of my views. And now you can call me whatever you want. You can call me Chị or Em, or Sư Chị, Sư Em, or a community of selves, a formation of the 5 skandhas. I remember a few years ago, before I came to Deer Park, I was at home with my blood family in Australia, and I would hear my nephews use phrases like, "Hey you, hey you, hey man," when they talk to each other and they call each other. And at that time, I thought to myself, what kind of language is that? Because I was not familiar with all in this kind of informal way of relating to each other. But now I can see the advantages of this informal way of relating to one another, because it certainly avoids of the complications I experienced when I was a young novice. So, dear friends, if our deepest aspiration is to liberate ourselves from suffering, to put an end to suffering, then let us practice together Thai's invitations and encouragements. Come back to our body, come back to our step, come back to our breath. To recognize, acknowledge, and embrace our suffering. To look at and listen deeply to our suffering in order to recognize the cause of our suffering. When we understand that it is our wrong thinking, our wrong perception, our wrong view about ourselves and others, it is our way of seeing things as not as they really are, then we know that the practice of letting go of views, perceptions, is the key, is the way out. We know that the Noble Eightfold Path begins with right view. And right view is a foundation for right thinking, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right diligence, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Cultivate right view, which ultimately the absence of all views. For insight to reveal itself. When the mind is absolutely clear, what remains is insight. It is like a full moon night when the sky is completely clear. What we see is the full moon. In Zen tradition, insight is often compared to the full moon. With insight, we know how to speak and what to say, how to take action and what action to take. That does not bring suffering to ourselves and others. Last night was a full moon night in the lunar calendar. And this morning, when I walked from Clarity Hamlet to this meditation hall for the morning sitting meditation, I stopped several times to look at the sky. It was absolutely clear, and the full moon was absolutely peaceful, clear, and bright. Yesterday morning, the Sangha of Deer Park, our brothers and sisters, we went to visit a venerable, a very dear friend in the Dharma. I was deeply struck by his peacefulness, his time in this life is very short. But I can see his full moon shine brightly in his eyes and in his face. I touch my deep respect for his life and his practice. Before we left, I bow deeply in respect. For his practice and his being. Since yesterday morning, each time I close my eyes, I still see the image of his peaceful, calm, radiant eyes and face. And as we know that vaccinations are underway everywhere in our country, this is a good news. And many of us here, our brothers and some of our sisters, already complete the vaccination 2 times. And the rest of us will complete our vaccination in 2 or 3 weeks. However, the pandemic is not over yet. And some of us may continue to live in social isolation for a while longer. So let us make the best use of the situation. Let us take it as an opportunity to practice truly living alone, a better way to live alone as the Buddha taught. Let go of thoughts about how our situation and the situation of the world were in the past. Let go of thoughts about how things will be in the future. Establish ourselves in the present moment. Recognize the positive and supportive condition in our lives and around us. This helps us not be carried away by our regrets, fear or anxieties, even in this difficult time. And this is the better way to live alone. Please do not forget to nourish ourselves with refreshing elements and positive conditions in our life. To find balance for ourselves and to support our practice. May all beings be well and safe. Thank you.
Time to do beloved song? We'll get some flowers from Sister Lady, beloved Pháp. It is 11:15. After this, we'll have dharma sharing. We will do, I think, 2 groups. Maybe a Vietnamese group in the hall and an English-speaking group outside. Meet back here at 11:30. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Is there?